this morning.
That was crazy. Are we in the building tonight? Okay, now we're good to go. Should we start that again, guys? Let's start that again. Good evening, Wealth Union. Okay. Much better. Good evening, all. Welcome to tonight's service titled 100 Stories Then and Now. My name is Evangelist Gideon, and welcome to everyone that's here for the first time, watching online as well. And I'm just going to take you through a brief introduction of who we are and a run through of tonight's service. So, of course, for those watching online and here for the first time tonight, wondering who we are, what we do, Wealth Union, simply put, is the hub of young global leaders. We are a community and a church operating to inspire and empower the next set of young leaders through unity, leadership, and community building. And of course, if you're wondering how that looks like, simply put, in the house today, we've got many leaders leading and thriving in their different industries that I will touch on briefly shortly. But before I get into things, I think it's definitely a great way to start for us to showcase Wealth Union in regards to our wins of the past week. And I think no better way to start than our trip to Belgium. Wealth Castle, if we get any content on the screen, yep. Wealth Castle hosted an amazing service on Saturday led by Pastor Kingsley and the team. And they had an amazing service where hundreds of young people came down to connect, with the Belgium team, join the movement, join our community, and of course, be empowered and connect with our global leaders. And touching on community, touching on leaders, I'm going to quickly go through the communities that we have in-house today. And if you guys want to make some noise for these community leaders, for these communities, I'm going to list out the sports community led by Pastor Alarcon at the front. Just wave your hand, sir, for me. We have Music Nation led by Pastor Beryl. Of course, student community led by Pastor Remy. Entrepreneur community led by Pastor Josh. Creative community led by Pastor Glody. Beauty community led by Pastor Basola. And last but not least, the health and wellness community led by Pastor Deborah. Of course, these communities are the communities we have in-house today. And if you'd like to join one of these communities, of course, there will be a QR code on the screen for you guys to scan and join any of these communities shortly. Yep, okay, so let me stand on this side. So if any of you in the house today would like to join a community and get to know one of the leaders and be a part of these communities, do scan the QR code on screen now. So let's go, guys. Any phones in the building? Let's get your phones up in the building. Yep. Quick scan, 20 seconds. You're going to need your phones out for a few seconds because there will be a few more QR codes on the screen. And next up will be our social media. So if you would like to stay connected and find out what Wealth Union do on a week-to-week basis and how you can keep up to date with what we have going on, here is our QR code to connect with our social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, that is the Wealth Union _. And of course, we also do have a SoundCloud profile where you can hear the many different leaders in the house today speak and also connect there as well. Next QR code we do have for you guys will be the department QR code. So for any of you guys here today that would like to join a department, join a new skill, learn a new skill, this QR code is a chance for you to scan. Let me just see. Any department heads, scream a name to me. Music, floor team. No. Floor team. There's floor team. Oh, the preachers. Yep. Okay. The preachers. But this QR code is simply just for you to scan and join the department in-house, and of course learn something new. And of course, another QR code that will also be up here as well is a QR code for next week, Monday. Guys, everyone ready for next week, Monday? The showcase, the one we've all been waiting for. Of course, next week, Monday, what will be happening is the Wealth Union will be showcasing all the different communities that I've listed to you guys this evening, from music, sports, students. All of the communities will be showcasing themselves, their work. Their leaders will be giving opportunities and providing demonstrations of how you can join those communities and also be a part of those communities as well. But before I leave you guys and get out of your way, I'm going to introduce our next segment, which will be GB, a special performance for GB. Round of applause for GB as he comes up. Yes.
Yo.
GB, and enjoy the rest of the service, guys.
Thank you. So my name is GB. I'm an Afrobeat artist. I'm gonna be performing my song called Conji Love, straight off my new EP titled Built from Doubt. Yeah. So I want you guys to do one thing for me, please. Just dance. If you don't know how to dance, just move your head like this. Okay? Just dance. You move your body, yeah? All right, cool. Let's go. Country, yeah. Now you I want, yeah. She dey look me, body soft like pillow. But her mind is the sharp, they move like shadow. I follow, I go. As she dey feel my tempo. Every time I come around, she dey speak Juliet and Romeo. I love you, yeah. Now Conji, yeah. Now you I want, yeah. I love you, yeah. Now Conji, yeah. Now you I want, yeah. She dey call me a nigga, AJ na my nigga. You dey give me ginger. If you check in my Insta, she dey call me a nigga, AJ na my nigga. You dey give me ginger. Then fuck those niggas. Buy me Dior, buy me Casablanca, buy me Gucci, buy me Fendi, buy me Christian, buy me give me push, so they move like that, so they feel it to sign is the chance to lie. I see the way that you play. No, they come my way. All of the things you do in my face. No be love, not country. I love you, yeah. Now yeah. Now you are, yeah. I love you, yeah. Now country, yeah. Now you I want, yeah. They call me a nigga. AJ, na my nigga. They give me ginger. She they call me a nigga. AJ na my nigga. Oh yeah, who's ready to dance? Stand up. Walk on na inkana, kiki. Walk on na inkana, kiki. Walk on na inkana. 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 I love you, yeah. Now Conji, yeah. Now you I want, yeah. I love you, yeah. Now Conji, yeah. got you I want, yeah, 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 yeah.
Raise all your flags, lovers and aspirers, ENG, CNG, Wealth Union. Alright, let's do it.
Yeah, it's back, yeah, it's back, yeah, it's back, right? Yeah, facts, right?
Yeah, that's back. Okay, you do you, but I'ma go my own way.
I'ma go my own way.
This is the first time I ever came to Wealth Union. I feel like that was when my life kind of changed.
You need to understand that the first nation that the word wants to take is you.
Back Nation is the home of greatness.
Family, are you ready for the word tonight? That power is over the churches and the families. It's a new season. So you're going to rise and rise and rise and rise and rise forever. We renew it, we breathe it out again. Oh, mema, oh, mema. Hey, CNG, hey, ENG, Wealth Union. The power of God is in this house tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, guys. How's everyone doing tonight? Great. So who was here with us last week? Can I just get a show of hands? Amazing. So if you know, last week we had a segment titled Then and Now. And what we done was we heard from a few members within the Wealth Union who told us a bit about their stories, their journeys, where they were before the Wealth Union and where they are now. So if you weren't here, I'm just going to explain how the segment goes so that you understand. So I'll have two people come and join me up on stage, and they'll both have whiteboards and pens. So what I will then do is ask them a question, and what they have to do is write down the name of the person that they think relates to the question the most. I'll do a practice run so that you can understand it. But for now, if I can just invite up my first two members, Minister Esther Clark and Pastor Ramses. So, like I said, I'll do a practice run so that everyone can understand how this works, and then I'll leave it to them to kind of tell us a bit about their journeys. So my question for you both, who would you say is the better cook between the two of you? You have to write it down, yes. Okay. And on the count of three, if you can please just show your boards. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay. So you're the better cook. You're the better cook. Okay, so I'm going to start off, like I said, with one question, and they will both write down a name on the whiteboard. And from there, I will actually leave, and they will take away the conversation. So my first question. Who became a carer at the age of 7 years old? Three, 2, 1. Ramses. That's interesting. So if you can just take it away, tell us a bit about that, and then you guys can take away the conversation.
Good evening, all. Just to tell you a bit about my story, I think this is actually a story that I've never told publicly. But from the age of 7, I actually started to care for my younger brother, who was disabled with a rare condition. Why I say was is because 2 years ago he actually passed away. And of course, like many of us here, I didn't actually have a father figure growing up at home. So from the moment he was born, I was basically that father figure in the house. So that's kind of my story and how it started.
Nice. Evening, everyone. My name's Esther Clark. Not in that way, he's my brother, but I want to get into it more. I'll ask you a question just based off of that. But how did you, so growing up as a young carer, how do you think that shaped your mindset and the work ethic that you actually have?
I think it definitely differentiated me because from a young age, I basically had to be a father, almost looking after someone else. And I think when I look at how my life has shaped today, it's almost like my focus or my day-to-day is almost like looking after other people. So it's almost like I had to do that from a young age. So it's kind of similar to what I'm doing now. But yeah. Sorry, I'll ask you a question. Esther. If you can go to my next one.
I'll ask you something else. You mentioned it making you different as a person amongst your peers. Of course, I would know because we've been friends for a while, but you actually had a clothing brand of your own, which I actually used to model for. So tell us a bit about that. What inspired you to start that at the age of 14?
So I think quite similar to my situation. Like I said, growing up, I had to be independent from young. Not unlike my friends, I didn't necessarily get pocket money or anything from my parents. So I think for me, I thought the best way for me to kind of start, at the time, everyone used to do business and clothing brand was the first business for everyone to start with. So for me, I just started a clothing brand. Then from there, I was growing it. Of course, people like Esther, where's Deborah? People like Deborah was a model. So you can see I was quite polite. I allowed...
Hey, I made your clothing brand work.
You can see these are people that, when you look at them, they're not necessarily models, but I was for the community, so. But I'll ask you a question, Minister Esther. Of course, you're part of Villa House.
I am.
And I'm aware that you're offering a one-to-one beauty services soon. I wanted to ask, what made you gather different people at different stages of your life? Example, from hosting your own link-ups at home, from doing debates and different stuff like that.
Okay, so I think prior to me actually joining the nation, I would tend to have a lot of people around me, if I'm honest. So whether that was through my own birthday parties, which I actually hosted every year, or if that was people just coming to my house, it was basically like everyone's hotspot, if I'm honest. So I would do their makeup or we'll just chill. Unfortunately, done things like canisters or whatever. But yeah, like that was me. Like I was just everyone's go-to person, no matter what it was. But then, of course, fast forward to that, myself and Ramses actually went to the same college, CTK. So we didn't start off doing debates, but we just saw what our leaders were doing. So we just thought, okay, like what's a good way to actually gather people? So then we thought of fellowships. Of course, at the time, that was a bit religious, if I can put it in that way. But then we thought, okay, how can we expand this? And then that's when we started going into debates. So we would use like different topics that are actually relative to young people, and weekly we would just discuss them. We would make our own flyers. Someone like Pastor Lydia, I actually don't know if she's in the room, but Minister Lydia, she would actually make our flyers every single week. So yeah.
I think I do just want to add and expand to that. So what we actually done is we started, at first it was actually called CTK Revival. I do always like to emphasize that because it's almost like our part of our revival isn't always recognized. But we had CTK Revival, which was a carbon copy of Youth Revival. At the time, we was doing Youth Revival basically, or CTK Revival, where we would teach the word, we'll get into prayers, but then it got to a point where we expanded and we wanted to accommodate more people. So we started doing debates and would feed people better food than the canteen. So we'll feed people Dominoes, snacks, and of course you guys saw the video. So these are the type of things that we're doing with the youth, with the young people at CTK. But I'll ask you another question. If you can help me explain, of course we're both entrepreneurs, you can help me explain your journey into entrepreneurship and how you've used it to connect with as many people as possible.
So I've actually been doing hair since I was in year 9. Of course, I've already explained that when I was in school, I was actually doing hair, whether that was in the classroom or in my lunchtime, whatever. And then, of course, fast forward in that, I met my mentor in Youth Revival. She then actually like pushed me to actually creating my own brand at the time. So the first thing was, okay, let's actually make a logo. So I started off as EC Styles. I'm not sure if anyone in this room knows that page, but that was featuring the famous pink background at the time. But then later on, I actually grew in friendships, or shall I say relationships, with many of the girls in the room here. So then through leadership again, we just thought, why not dream bigger? Why not make something that's a lot more powerful? And that was a law house. So that's how we created that. And we also have our beauty community as well, where we host different events. Our last one was actually the Level Up event. So yeah.
Okay. And I've got a question, just a general question. What is next for you as an inspiring young leader?
I think as I continue to develop myself, there's many things that I can almost dabble into. Of course, right now I'm in beauty, but I am a part of like Knowledge Nation doing research there as well. So I feel like I'm a bit everywhere, but as long as I'm developing myself in beauty, so whether that's teaching, of course, we're launching new products and everything as well, with that to further our teaching to different people, whether that's online or in person. So yeah, just constantly developing myself so that I can reach other people. What about you?
I think for myself, as an inspiring young leader, I just aspire to almost show everyone what I was shown. I think from a young age, like I said, I was very independent, but I never actually had what I can call purpose today. I think for me it was quite simple. I was a young guy just trying to survive, ultimately. I didn't necessarily have a dream. I didn't have much ambitions. Me doing clothing, it had nothing to do with a passion for fashion. I didn't even try to make that rhyme. But me doing clothing, it had nothing to do with a passion for fashion. It was more so just trying to make ends meet, just trying to actually survive, trying to make money just so I can have food or the necessary clothing.
Get into it. Between the two of you, who would you say was the best footballer